Hi, fourth graders. What am I looking for? Well, let's talk about that. Writing is hard. I understand it's easier for some people than others, but in general, writing is hard. It's work. There's a reason authors get paid so well when we like their stuff because we know they put a lot of work into it. Writing is hard. Revising is really hard. Editing and revising is so important, though. You remember what John Coy said: the revising is what makes it better and better and better. You just write it and then you make changes and changes and changes. You use magnifying glass, not exactly, but you look closely and you try to figure out, is this character explained well enough? Is this problem clear? Is it a big enough problem? Do I need bigger problems? Did I solve the problem too quickly? Can the reader tell where this takes place, when it takes place? Can the reader tell what my characters are thinking? Does the reader like my characters? Does the reader like my beginning? Does the reader like my ending? Will the reader have questions that aren't answered? There's so many things to think about when you're revising. When you're writing, you don't worry about that. You just write it all out. But when you're revising, you need to look closely at, and you need to think about yourself as if you were the reader. And that's hard to do. So your mission today is to get somebody else to do it for you. You're going to need some tools, though. First of all, you're going to need someone to read it for you. You're not getting out as much as you used to, and I need you to do this today. So it's probably limited to the people in your house or people you can easily communicate with: parents, grandparents, aunts or uncles, older siblings, maybe not little siblings. It's probably not a good idea. What we want is somebody who you trust. If that's not possible today, if the only person there is your dad and your dad's super busy, then you could do this tomorrow. You could do it tonight. Make it work for you. You could do it over dinner, before dinner, after dinner. They can do it while you eat a really big dessert. Just dig into a big tub of ice cream while they're reading your story. They won't even notice. They'll be so engrossed in your wonderful story. So, one tool is a person. You're going to have to rush off and find somebody and ask them nicely, ever so sweetly, will you please read my story and give me feedback? Here's what we don't want. We don't want your mom reading your story and saying, oh, honey, that was wonderful. Nice job. How does that help us? There's obviously room for improvement. There's always room for improvement. And what we're looking for is somebody who won't just say, oh, honey, I'm so proud of you, but somebody who will say, oh, this is great. And then you say, but is there anything I could do better? Are there any parts that aren't clear? Is there any place I could add more detail, description, sensory detail? In fact, I gave you a list in the slides to come of questions you might want to ask. How's the ending? How's the beginning? How can I make the beginning stronger? How could I make the ending more satisfying? Because chances are you can. So, what we want is for the person reading it to give you actual suggestions. In fact, I'm so concerned that they give you suggestions that at the end of your editing session, you're going to go onto your class Padlet. You're going to tell us who your editor was, and you're going to tell us at least one suggestion that they found while they were reading your story. You could tell us a lot. You could take a screenshot or take a photograph of your notebook, of a little note. So the tools you need are: one, a person, and then two, a time and a place to sit down with them. Don't just hand them your notebook as they're going out the door and say, hey, mom, can you take a look? You got to sit down with them because they're going to give you suggestions and you're going to ask them questions. And you're each going to have a pencil or pen and you're going to make notes. Maybe they make notes in the margins or on post it notes. So, post it notes might be a good tool. A pencil or pen would be a good tool. Your writer's notebook, obviously, wherever you wrote it, is a necessary tool. And then you have to listen to their feedback. So, another tool you need is your ears. And I brought you another one just in case. Don't worry, it's clean. It's a tissue. Because it's hard to hear sometimes. You love your story. Even if you don't love it, you feel proud of it. Even if you don't feel that proud of it, it's something that you created. And when people tell you that there's something that can be changed about something you created, sometimes it hurts. Sometimes it makes you a little sensitive. But deal with it. You're a big kid now. It's not personal. In fact, what we want is them to give you honest feedback. That whole thing about, oh, honey, this is great. It's not that helpful. I'm grading these. Mrs. Eigel is grading these. You think we're just going to be like, oh, honey, this is so wonderful. And no, we have a list of things we're looking for. It has to be a story, has to have characters, clear plot, clear setting. There have to be problems that get solved. It needs an interesting beginning and a satisfying ending. It needs to be grammatically correct, best spelling and punctuation and capitalization that you can possibly do. And it has to be interesting, to be honest. Has to be interesting, at least somewhat interesting. So you want the person reading to help you make it all of those things. If you both are sitting there like, what do we do? Show them this video. They'll be like, who's that crazy guy? Why does he blow his nose on camera? Why is his eye so big? You can say, I don't know, Mom. I don't know, Granny. I don't know, Uncle Jim Bob. It's just how it is. So what are you going to do with all this stuff? What are you going to do after this? This is the big part. You're going to make some changes. If you get all this feedback and you don't change anything in your story, what's the point? There's no point. So you're going to get somebody to read it. You're going to talk to them about it. You're going to ask them for some suggestions. And then you're going to take their suggestions and make some changes. You don't have to make all the changes today. In fact, this week you're going to be doing a final copy and final editing, and keep their changes in mind and improve things as you rewrite it into a final copy. That's okay, but you should remember the suggestions and you should maybe make notes on some of them in your draft today. Take some time to do that. If you have time to do free writing after that, go for it. This is not optional. This writing project is a big deal. These changes are important, and you're getting expert opinion. Why do I say expert? Is your mom or dad a professional editor? Maybe. Probably not, though. But they've read a lot, and boy, have they written a lot. And they've seen and been through a lot in their years on this planet. And that helps them to know what makes a good story and what makes good writing. And they can tell you whether that's what you have and how to get it better. So have fun. Don't take it personally. I don't know where that tissue is, but you can get your own. And we'll see you next time.